All right, good afternoon, guys. So, how's life so far? So, everyone back to work already so far?
Hi.
Okay, so let's start. All right, so this will mark the 4th episode of our webinar series so far. All right, so there's some housekeeping rules that I would like to mention about. Okay, so first of all, kindly mute your mic. And if you have any question, you can post it in the chat box. All right, I will answer to those questions later on. All right, so for today's session, eventually, it is a very technical session. All right, compared to the previous session that we have done so far. All right, so I'll be demonstrating a couple of different type of attacks, and I hope that everyone can follow through well for this session here. So if you don't worry about it. The session is recorded, and we'll be sharing it to you guys later on as well. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the slides. Okay, so from these slides, you can see that there are different types of threats all around us. Okay, so an average of 5,000 to 7,000 new computer security threats are announced each year. Okay, and if you divide that kind of numbers, it is as many as 19 types of threats every day. All right. So the rate at which new threats appear make it difficult to decide which one requires your full attention about it. Okay. The cybersecurity landscape is constantly shifting and evolving as new cybersecurity threats and security solutions emerge. Security measures that work against the top cyber threats one day may be rendered obsolete by new types of cybersecurity threats the next. Okay. So for businesses to minimize their risk of a data security breach, they need to be constantly vigilant of the different type of cybersecurity threat that they face, regardless both new and old. So however, it is important to remember that there is no single silver bullet solution that can address every cyber threat that your company faces. Okay, because there are too many different kinds of cybersecurity threats out there for one piece of technology to provide complete protection. So let's say that you have firewalls. Okay, firewall doesn't do much. Okay, firewall only helps you to filtering the packets and so on. So if you have IDS, IPS, WAF, yeah, but still we have the last issues that will eventually, which is the human itself, of course. Okay. So for one of the cyber threats that I'll be talking today will be on the types of password attack that we have. Okay. So first of all, password guessing. Okay. In password guessing, an attacker can either manually enter password or use a software to automate the process. Therefore, there's only one attacker that is performing this type of attack at one time. Okay. Then the next one will be on password cracking. Attacker usually prefer to learn password without resetting them. Okay. So password cracking is the process of taking a captured password hash, okay, or some obscure form of the plain text password or challenge response packet, and converting it to its plain text original. So to crack a password, an attacker needs tools such as extractor for hash guessing, rainbow tables for looking up the plain text password. And the third one, brute force attack. So brute force attack basically are attacks performed by using a software that what we call as password cracker. So a password cracker performs a brute force crack by systematically trying every possible password until it succeeds. So example of this type of tools would be like Hydra or Encrack. I'll be demoing on how to use this kind of tools later on for this. And on the fourth one, pass the hash. Okay, pass the hash is another type of hacking techniques that allow an attacker to authenticate to a remote server or services without using the brute force. All right, so the attacker uses this type of hashes on the user password instead of requiring the associated plain text password to log into the remote server or the services itself. And also pass the hash attack can be directed against Windows system and other type of system as well. So basically, we are using the users hashing the hash value to bypass the systems, okay, for this. And on the fifth one, rainbow tables. So a rainbow tables is basically a pre-commuted table for reversing cryptographic hash function, usually for cracking password hashes. So tables are usually used in recurring a password up to a certain length, consisting of a limited set of characters only. So you can purchase this type of rainbow tables from online or some sites, okay, which vary in size from 100 of megs to maybe a terabyte, okay. Or you can eventually also generate your own rainbow crack as well tables, okay. And for the last one, which is password capturing. All right, so this is basically like keyloggers. All right, so many attackers capture passwords simply by installing a keyboard sniffing Trojan horse or one of the many physical keyboard logging hardware devices for sales throughout the internet. I'll be demoing on this password capturing on how we can use keyloggers to sniff those what users have keyed in from there as well. Okay. All right, so I'll be moving on to the demo right now here. Okay, so if you all still remember how we used mmap last week from what Aisha have shown you guys, those that have joined, okay. So first of all, we need to have our target. All right, so what I have here, eventually, I have a window 10 here. All right, so if you look into this window 10, I'm not logged in right now, okay. So what I'm going to do, because I already know the IP address of this window 10 here. So what I'm going to do, I will just quickly do a mmap, all right, on the service itself. Oh, sorry, on the machine itself. Okay, give me 1 minute. mmap 192.168.213-T5. I'm using a more higher thread to get a faster result. Sorry for that. Let me just try to check what is the issue here. All right. Okay, so I got my IP now. So I'll just log the account again. And I'll just try to, let me just try to ping first, okay? All right, so I got it. So I'll just scan it right now. So from here, you can see that the result that I have, all right, I have port 22, 135, 139, 445, 3389, and 8000. So basically, what is this port? If you are well versed enough, you know that port 22 is SSH, all right? Then 3389 is RDP. So what I'm going to do from here eventually, I will try to brute force into these two services here, 22 and 3389, because I know that it needs credentials to log in, correct? All right, so what I'm going to do here, if you do not want to create your own dictionary, okay, because brute force, you need a password dictionary. If you do not want to use create your own password dictionary, you can always try to look into your Kali there. There's a default dictionary there, which is called as RockQ, okay. You can just make use of this password dictionary for your attack. But for my case, I will not be using that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a password dictionary of my own, all right. So I'll just create a random list of about 10 password, all right. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe this is the last one. Okay, I'll just create this. And if I look into it, I have created the file here, the ICT. So this is my dictionary lah. All right. So if I just confirm it, this is a list of passwords that I have here. All right. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to use this tool, Hydra, which I mentioned, either Hydra, Encrack, or John the Ripper. Those kind of tools you can just use to do attack. All right. So I'll go by Hydra-L for the login name, which I already know is admin just now. Just to confirm again for you guys. Admin here, all right. Then followed by -P, capital P, to pull out the dictionary that I want. And followed by the service name that I want to crack, which is RDP, which is 3389, all right. Okay, so that's the whole list of command that I need to put in. So once I press enter, it will try to automate for me to do the brute forcing, and you can see that this is the password that it was able to crack for me. So eventually it's admin and the password is admin. So how do I confirm whether it is the correct one? All right, I'll just try to do a R desktop. and sorry, and I try to type my password, and you can see that I can log in from there. All right. So the same thing goes for if it's SSH. So we just change this to SSH, and you just type enter again. But of course, you can see that the password is the same, because that's the password that I've set for both the account there. Okay. Okay. So in the case of event that the administrator is using a different port, what you need to put, just put a semicolon here and any other port that it is using. All right. So that's how easy it is for password brute forcing attacks for this kind of cases here. All right. So if you are lazy to create your own dictionary like what I created, okay, too long or something like, what we can do, we can use a tool called Crunch as well. All right. So I'll just pull out the help file. You can see how we can create. So Crunch is to create a word list based on the criteria you specify. All right. So how to use it? Crunch minimum and maximum with options lah. So I'm going to do a example here. Let's say I crunch a minimum of 4 password, maybe a total of 6 password. Okay. Then I'll put like no, I put 5. Then I'll put my name here, Levin, and I'll just output it to a file as in here, in this folder here. Output file. All right. And it will generate for me 3,500 different type of characters from there. So let me just log into the file again, output, and you can see that this is the list that they have created. So a minimum of 4 characters starts, okay, and it goes up to maximum of 5 characters. So it will try all the combinations for you. So this is also another way that you can use to create your own password dictionary. Okay, let's say you have a intended target that you want to attack. Okay, so that's about for brute forcing attacks. All right. So another way, what I'm going to show you next is on how we use Metasploit, which Aisha also have shown you guys last week. Using it to exploit some vulnerability. From there, we dump some password hash from the system as well also. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on my Metasploit from here. It will take a bit of time because my Metasploit is a bit slow. So what I'm going to do from this attack is that I'm going to use one of the vulnerability that I found here, all right, from this port here. Okay, so 422 I already know the password, 239 I already know the password. Okay, 445 is basically what Aisha have shown you last week, okay, which is the Eternal Blue attack there. So I'm not going to use that today. I'm going to use another type of attack on this 8000, which is eventually a web service. Let me try to enumerate it. So basically, this port 8000 is a web service that is running on top of it, which also have some vulnerability there. Okay, so I'm going to use this vulnerability to try to gain entry into the systems. Then from there, I will dump the password from there. Okay, so I'll jump a bit from here. So what I'm going to do is I'll search for icecast. All right. So basically here, there's an exploit code that I can use for the icecast vulnerability there. All right. So I'm going to select it. Then I'm going to type show option to see what input that I need to key in. All right. So I need to key in the R host, which means that the remote host there. Okay. So set R host, which is the IP address of the Windows 10 systems. And I'll just type run. There. Okay. So I'm already in the system of the Windows 10. So if I type sysinfo, you can see that I can retrieve all the information of the Windows system of the Windows 10 then. However, if I type get UID, if I type get UID is to see what kind of privilege I am using right now. So what you can see here is the local admin privilege only. Okay. But however, if you want to dump some password, we need to have the system privilege. Okay. If I try get system, it doesn't allow me because it says that I do not have the privilege escalation there. All right. So what I'm going to show you here also is what we call as is another type of attack, as privilege escalation. All right. So from here, I'm going to search for bypass UAC. Okay. UAC, you all know, right? In Windows, what is UAC? Okay. So what we can do here, we can bypass the UAC and then to get a higher privilege. So from here, there are a list of type of exploit. What I'm going to use, maybe I'll use number 9 here, slowly hijack. All right, so I'll use number 9. Then I show option again. Then I will, what is required is only, it says that it needs to be put what session. All right, so how do we know what session? I type session. You can see that this is the session ID here. Okay, so I'm going to set session to 1. All right, so if I check again, it has been set to 1 here. All right, then I'll just type run. You can see that it's trying to bypass it. And I get another meta session. Okay, means I'm in the system the second time. All right, so if right now I'm check get UID is the same privilege, local admin privilege. However, but if I type get system, you can see that I will be able to have a higher privilege there already. Okay, this is how we do a privilege escalation as well. Okay, so from here, what I'm going to do to dump the password hash of this local admin here. Okay, I'm going to use this command load kiwi. All right, you can read about how to use kiwi by typing help. Then you can see all the commands about kiwi is here. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dump the LSA of this account or from the account there. All right, so I'll type LSA dump SAM, and straight away you can see that this is the hash of the account there. All right, so if we after we have get this kind of hash, what are we going to do? What can we do? Of course, if you have any hashes, we can always dump the hashes. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I will copy this hash here. Okay, I'll put it into an online cracking service. Oh, I cannot paste it. Okay, never mind. Let me check my setting. Okay, so basically after you have decrypt this hash, the password will be the same as password. All right, so it is not tough to crack the password, but depending on the complexity of the password that you have set so far for the password that you are using. Okay, you always need to remember that set a much more difficult password so that it is attacker will not be able to decrypt that kind of password from easily for you. All right, so if you look into the help file here as well, all right, you have another option, password change. Okay, so this is interesting. So maybe I can change the password of this admin here if you want. All right, so let's try it. So I'll just use password change. Okay, with the command of admin -u admin. All right, then by -n and followed by the hash that I want. All right, which is this hash here. And I'll set as a new password. Okay, so let's say I'll put 1 2 3 4 5 6. And you can see that I can change the password of the admin here already. Okay, so if let's say I dump again the password, you can see the string for the value of the NTLM hash has changed to 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so this is the type of attacks that we can perform on your victim itself eventually. All right, so that's on hashing or password hashing attack. Another one that I want to show you, okay, is how we can use keyloggers to attack as well. All right, to capture the login credentials of your victim. Okay, so first of all, for window login, all right, which is on this screen here, we need to know what this process is running. It is running on top of. Okay, so of course, what we can do is we type PS. All right, we type PS and then we can see all the process that is currently running. All right, so from this list here, we can see that maybe this one will be the process that is running. Okay, because winlogon.exe. All right, so maybe this is the process. All right, so what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to see what is the process ID I'm currently in. So get PID, which is 1736. 1736 is referring to PowerShell here. Okay, so I'm not in the process of winlogon here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to migrate to 468. Why 468? Because winlogon process ID is 468. Okay, so I'll migrate into 468. Okay, so once the migration is done, what I'm going to do from here is I'll type this command then, key scan start. All right, so what it does is it will start the keystroke sniffing. All right, so after I've started it, I will, let's say I'm the victim, I try to log in. So first password I type is the password. I'm not able to log in, but the second password that I type, what's the password I said? Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so I'll be able to log in. All right, so if I check back here again, how to check the logs, basically I just type key scan dump. Okay, let me try again. Okay, then and you can see that I was able to capture the input of the password that I have set this now, that I've keyed in this now, 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is how Keylogger works eventually. Okay, so if let's say another demo I will show you on keylogging. So for keylogging, let's say I'm already in the desktop here. All right, so let's say I open a notepad here. All right, okay, then what I'm going to do here is that I will migrate myself to the process of Explorer, because anything that is happening on the desktop is on top of Explorer. Okay, so I'm going to migrate myself to 2328. Then from there I will just type, sorry for that, type anything, hi, how are you guys? All right, then I try again to dump the result. Sorry. Okay, let me just try again. And dump. You can see that exactly all the words by pressing shift and space or whatever it is, it will be captured. Okay, so this is how keylogging works for on software type of systems as well. Okay, so moving on to the mitigation. All right, so first of all, of course, we need to have a strong password policy. Okay, so strong password requirement make password much more difficult to guess. So different type of authors have different recommendation for minimum password strength. So let's say I have my policy is 8 characters, but maybe yours is 12 characters. Then the longer the password and the larger the character range included in it, the stronger the password will be. Okay, then length increases guessing difficulty more than using obscure characters. Then also avoid using dictionary words. Okay, not using the same password for multiple application makes password stronger as well. Don't use password 1 2 3 throughout all your applications. Okay, consider putting a space between your password also helps, but of course depending on the applications, some application doesn't accept space in for password. Okay, for the second one, account lockout. So account lockout are a security control that is inherited from the day before the use of multi-factor authentication, which become widespread from there. Then account lockout prevent authentication attempts for a period of time after a certain amount of failed authentication attempts. And for the third one, throttling authentication attempts. So it's a common and practical control is throttling authentication attempt. Okay, there are several variations of authentication throttling, like constant time throttling or increased period throttling. So constant time throttling adds a constant waiting period, usually of a few seconds or maybe a 20 seconds, 30 seconds, okay, before announcing the authentication results to the users. So increased period throttling increment the waiting period, okay, but after each failed authentication attempts. So authentication throttling control have the added benefits of preventing time-based username enumeration attempts when implemented correctly there. Okay, so that's about password attack so far. For the next one, what I'm going to show you is what we call as pivoting. Maybe you've heard about it. Okay, so pivoting is basically what we call as island hopping as well. So it is a unique technique of using an instance to be able to move around inside a network. Okay, basically using the first compromise to allow and even aid in the compromise of others otherwise inaccessible system to avoid restriction such as firewall configuration which may prohibit direct access to all machines. So for examples, okay, when an attacker has compromised a web server on a corporate network, okay, then the attacker can then use the compromised web server to attack other systems on the network. So this type of attack are often called a multi-layer attack. So what I'm going to do from here is that let's say I'm an attacker using a Kali or Parrot from here. What I'm going to do, I have exploited this machine here, all right, Windows 10, all right, okay. Then from there, I can see that it is using another network, which is the which have another machine of Windows Server 2016. Okay, so you can see that let's say assume that this is a web server here. Okay, then it was communicating to another database server. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to attack as an attacker. I'm going to attack this machine here. After I attack this machine, I'm going to make myself available into this network as well. Okay. So what I'm going to do from here is, let's say, okay, let me just clear the screen. Okay, so I already have two sessions here. So means that I already compromised the first machine as of the diagram that I've shown just now. Okay, so I already compromised the first machine here. Okay, Windows 10. So what I'm going to do now here, I'm going to try to compromise this machine. So from here, okay, let's back to session 2 here. Then I will type ipconfig to see what kind of network is using. So I can see that there's a one network card 192.168.2.13, which is the IP that I have exploited through. Okay. Then from there, I can see that there's another IP there, which is 192.168.56.4. Okay. So means that this machine is communicating to another machine at the back, or maybe it's behind another firewall there. All right. But I do not have direct access to that machine. Okay. Let's just try to ping the IP. All right, 56.4. Wait, I can ping. Okay, maybe my setting is wrong. Okay, so what it is that what I will going to do here is I will run a ARP scanner, okay, to see what is behind there. It's 56.4, sorry, .0/24. And from the scanner that I'm running, okay, I can see that there are this couple machine there. .1, .2, .4, which is my Windows 10, and this is .5. Means that there are another machine there from there, because these two will be like the DHCP there. All right. So I know that there's another machine behind this network. Okay. So what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to type background again. I'm going to add a route. So this information, I got it from here, okay, the IP address and the net mask here, okay, and I will bind it to session 2. Session 2 is because the session that I'm currently using is the session 2, all right, so I'm going to bind this root add to my second session, all right, and if I check again, I have the routing already. All right. So right now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use another scanner tools in Metasploit itself. Okay. Port scan TCP. Then from there, I'm going to type show option. Okay. So this is the information that I need to put in. R host. Okay. Set R host, which is 192.168.56.5. All right. Because this is the machine that I want to scan. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just put .0/24, the whole thing. I'll scan the whole subnet from there. Then I'll set the threads to 50 to be faster. And also what I'm going to do, I'm going to scan only a certain ports like port 445 and 3389 from there. Okay. So we can always specify this kind of values into the the tools there. All right, so I'm going to run, and you can see that on the machine 56.5, I have port 445 and 3389 there. Oh, my session died for Metapredator 2. Okay. Okay, just give me a minute again. Sometimes when we are doing this demo, there will have this kind of issues there. Suddenly, the connection got lost or something. All right. Okay, I'll just run again. Okay, so from here, I'm going to push it to background. Then I'm going to add the route again. Sorry for that, because the all right, so I have back the session already. Session 3 now. Okay, so just now, back to just now where I have scanned the port. Sorry, right here. I know that this machine here is using port 445 and 3389. Okay, so what we can do from here is that let's assume that I rescan the whole machine here and I know the type of vulnerability from there. Okay, so I will just straight jump to the exploit. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to use one of the exploit, the popular exploit, which is Eternal Blue. Okay, MS17010. All right, so from there I'm going to choose the fault one, PSEXEC. Then from there, I'm going to type show option again. I'll just type in our host, which is 192.168.56.5. Okay. However, I need to set a payload for this, a type of payloads on how I'm going to deliver this exploit through to the system there. Okay. Then I'm going to bind the TCP. All right. So I'll just type show option again to see everything is correct. Okay. So I have key in the R host. The port is 445 and here the payload is going through to this IP address also. Okay, so next I'm going to just type run. And you can see that the payload, the exploit is being sent over. Okay, so now I'm ready into the second system already. You can see that this is a Windows 2016. All right, if I push it to background again, you can see the session I have. All right, this is basically Windows 10. Okay, which is the first tool that I've showed earlier. Then this is a Windows 2016, right? So if we look back into the diagram here, all right. So as an attacker, I have attacked this machine, which is the Windows 10. Okay, from here which is a different network. Also, I jump it into Windows 2016. So this is what we call as island hopping or a pivoting technique itself. How we can make use of a compromised machine to jump to another network. Of course, provided this machine also have vulnerability, or maybe I can just try to do brute force from attack from there, because since it has a port 3389 there, all right, I can try to do those type of attacks from there eventually. Okay, so that's pivoting. All right, so far okay, everyone. I hope everyone can still follow well. Okay, I will explain. You can just give me question later on. All right. And for the last type of attack, all right, so because in everyone organization, I believe everyone have Active Directory itself in your own organizations, all right? So the importance of Active Directory in an enterprise cannot be stressed enough, okay? So used by most of the company in Malaysia or even the globally, all right? The all-possessive AD is the focal point for adversaries. So still, when it comes to Active Directory security, there is a large gap of knowledge which security professional and administrators struggles to fill. All right. So basically, Active Directory is developed by Microsoft for Windows domain networks. Okay. So it is a server running Active Directory domain service. It's called as domain controller. So what it does is to authenticate and authorize all users and computer in the network, the forest itself. Okay. So for example, user would log in into a computer which is part of a Windows domain, and the AD will check the submitted password and determine whether the user is a system administrator or a normal user, or what type of privilege that it has for that user that's trying to log in from there. Okay. So in an AD attacks, what is NTDI? ntds.dit file. So basically, ntds file is a database that stores Active Directory data, including information about user objects, group, and group memberships. Okay, so it includes the password hashes for all users in the domain. So basically, there are many ways an attacker can gain domain admin's right in Active Directory. The technique that I'm going to show here describe that we have already assumed breach. We did just now into the Windows Server 2016 there, where the attacker already has a foothold of an internal system and has gained access through some vulnerability, as I've shown you just now. Okay, so for the unfortunate reality for most enterprise is that it is often does not take long for an attacker to go from domain user to domain admin eventually. So the question on the defender minds would be most of the time is, how does this happen? Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here is that since I'm already into the Windows Server 16 here, okay, what I'm going to do here is that I will show you how we can dump shadow, VSS shadow. I believe everyone's that is administrating Active Directory, they know what is that, okay. So what normally how we do it is that we have to list the shadow that we have, okay. So this is basically a shadow copy that I have created earlier, which I created last week, okay. So if we want to create a new one, we can just type this command. Okay, VSS admin create shadow for C. I'm not sure how long it take. Okay, so it'll take quite fast also. So VSS admin again. You show that I have two set of shadow copy now because I have created another one just now. Okay, this is how we create a shadow copy. But what I'm going to do from here is that what I'm going to basically do is to create the shadow already. Then I'm going to copy this shadow out from the system that I have compromised. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll copy this value here. Okay, global root. Break the typo again. Device hard disk volume shadow copy. I'll just use 3. Sorry, I have to type again for the mistake I've done. 3, then I have to specify to which file it is, ntdirs dirs dit. All right, so because I already have a copy there, so I'll just overwrite the file. Okay, then I also will need to make a copy of the system file as well. I also have already once, so I'll just overwrite again. All right, so once I have copied out these two files from there, what I'm going to do next is that I need to go back to my MetaPrata session and download these two files from there to my machine, to the attacker machine. Okay, this is how I do it. Download ntdirs.dit. All right. The download will take a while because depending on the size of the ntdirs file and also how many network is hopping through, because right now it's hopping through 2 different type of network to download the file. Okay, so it will take a while. All right, and you also need to download the system file as well. Okay, this is how we do it lah. Okay, download system and download ntdirs.dit file out from the C drive Win System 32 here. Okay, so I'll just let it run because I already downloaded the file before the demo here. All right, so the file I have is here, ntdirs.dit, and also the system file here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here from here is that I'm going to use a tools, what we call as impact. All right, so these tools you can always go to GitHub, download the tools to do what I'm going to do next. All right, so I'll just see the go to examples. All right, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use this command here. Okay, Since I already downloaded the two files right just now, the ntdis.dit and also system file. So I'm going to use these tools to extract the hashes from these two files. I will explain the commands later. Okay, let me just type finish the thing. So I'm going to output this out to a file in my drive. So what this explains is that I'm going to use a tool, a Python script from the Impacket tools here to specify which is the ntdis file and the system file. And I specify the hashes of these two files, which is the Windows systems, okay? lm hash, nt hash. And it's a local file that I've downloaded into the system, and I output it to this directory here. All right, so this is what it means by these whole commands. All right. So it will take a bit while for it to dump what is inside the file, the database itself, depending on how big, of course. Since mine is 20 meg, should be quite a while only. Okay, I'll go back to the result here because I have already extracted the results one time. So I'll just look into the results now so that I don't need to make you to wait. So it's here in TLM hash. So basically, once it is done dumping, okay, eventually it's already being dumped. You can see that the hashes that is being dumped from the NTDS database itself. You can see all the hashes here. And if you look into it correctly, this is the administrator, okay, the global administrator. And you can see this hash here is similar to all this hash here. Yeah, most of it, the hash, all the same. That is because I have set the same password for all the accounts there. All right. So basically, sometimes when we see this sort of hash, we can identify, then we can try to crack it quite easily already. So far, for my whole summary of my session today, first of all, I have explained on the type of password attack, the 6 different type of password attack, like pass the hash, okay, brute forcing, all right, password dictionary, then password cracking, rainbow tables, and password capturing there, all right. Then I have also shown you guys on the pivoting techniques on how we can make use of a compromised machine to jump to another type of network from there. And for the last one on Active Directory attacks. But of course, Active Directory attacks, you have to already in the system to do what I'm doing, all right? But of course, in Active Directory, the attacks is quite big as well, all right? There are different type of attacks that you can venture on there, all right? Which I think I will talk about it on the next session lah. Of course, I will not be able to cover the whole Active Directory attacks today eventually, all right? Okay, so that's so far for my presentation for this session. All right, so far, do you have any questions? I'll open the floors to you guys. You can ask any question that you would like to ask, okay? So again, I would like to remind that this session is recorded and you can always refer back to the type of attack that I've done so far. All right, I believe that all this is quite technical for you guys to remember straight off from here. So I think you need to refer to all this, the recorded session again, okay? We'll send the link to you guys after we are done with this session here, okay? Any questions that you would like us to answer? Okay, Devendran, how do we practice this? Okay, so first of all, you can always download this kind of machines from online, or you can just build your own. Okay, so some of the website you can download is like WoundHub, all right, woundhub.com. There are a lot of vulnerable machine that you can use to practice for your own self. For my case, I just build myself, okay, just to test all these scripts there, okay. All right, Clay, would you be able to share the scripts? Okay, so for the scripts itself, you can just download from, okay, let me just search the link for you. You can just get the tools from here, GitHub in packet. All right, most of the tools that we use also is already uploaded into GitHub there. You can just use these tools to do so. Of course, please do not try on your company organization. Okay, if you get caught, don't come and look for me. Okay. Alfred, is this can apply for Linux? Okay, let's say Linux. Sorry, sorry, Asha. Is this apply for Linux? Is using a different type of for AD it will not be able, but for password cracking, all those, yes, you can still do the same. All right. I am not using Kali. Okay, I'm using Parrot basically, but depending on your preference. Okay, I prefer Parrot than Kali. So it's again it depends on your preference yourself lah. Okay. Kenny, okay, so vulnerable machine. Of course, if you download from off the internet, depending on which version that you have downloaded, lah. Of course, there are a lot of patches there. So if you download the earliest version, the vulnerability is still there. Okay. Keygen password crack. So I'm answering to Go. Okay, hi Levin. The keygen password cracking method is considered as which type of attack? Password cracking key generator. Key generator is basically they have understand the applications, how they generate the license code. Okay, so from there they just do a reverse engineering. Then they have created such same license type to do the key gen there. Why do I prefer Parrot? Parrot is much lightweight compared to Kali. Okay. For Lin, possible to do it in public IP? Yes, of course. This type of attack is possible. You just, if you want to do it with public IP, okay, you just need to do port forwarding in your firewall to be mapped to your machine, your local machine, so that you can go out, the attack can go out. Rishi Pillay, any materials for reference? You can always look into offensive security, like the Metasploit modules, okay? Most of this is from there as well. Is there any standards or ISO? Okay, for let's say ISO, I believe we are following ISO 2701 or and 2702, which is the ISMS lah. Okay, so you can use this kind of standards to follow to be adapt to your own organization as well. But of course, again, depending on what type of industry you are in. Okay, if you are in banking, then you need to follow the guidelines that be set by the Bank Negara Malaysia. Okay. Lorenzo, hi. Okay, which version I'm using? Okay, I'm using Security Mate ISO. Okay. Read one, yes, Parrot is the same as Kali. Basically, everything is the same. Okay. Can we use Parrot OS with pfSense? pfSense is basically a firewall. Why not? It's just another module only there. So I don't see anything wrong with that using Parrot with pfSense. Okay. So let me scroll up. Maybe some of the questions that I missed out. Devendran, how do we attack machine or device from different network? Is there any possibility attacking just using the victim IP address? From different network, of course, you have to establish some connection to that network. You must reach to that machine first, then only you can attack, right? If there's no, basically there's no ping to it, then you cannot attack to the machine. At least that is the minimum criteria that you need to have. How do we become an ethical hacker? Okay, Marcelski, yeah. Well, you can join our courses. Okay, we teach all these kind of attacks in our courses. Okay, then of course skills you need to have some knowledge in IT lah. All right, at least you have some enthusiasm in IT security. All right, and a lot of practices. Because even for us, we have practiced for quite few years, and we need to remember each of the commands and how to use the tool proficiently. Then only we can attack properly. But of course, you can always try out from using those vulnerable machines to practice your skill first. Icecast version. I think my version, the Icecast version I'm using is version 2.0.1. Let me just try to check again. Yeah, I think it's 2.0.1 or 0.4. It's somewhere there. That one is the one that have all this kind of vulnerability there for Robert. Okay. Mobile devices, yes, you can do the same also. We can send a payload to the mobile device. Okay, then from there we can also create a MetaPreta session from there as well. Also, G1, which port are more prone to attack? I basically for Windows systems, I would say port 445. Okay, so 445 is basically the SMB port, which version 1, 2, and 3 there. Okay, so that is the port that is quite vulnerable lah. All right. So as of other port like port 22, port 3389, those is more towards brute forcing attack. Zion. So meaning Android devices are also vulnerable to AD attack. If your Android devices attached to your Active Directory or not. If not, then I don't see it's possible. Okay, you have to have some connection there. All right. So basically, what I've done here so far, you can see that I have some links from a machine to another machine here. Okay, let's say this machine here is a network devices, and then it's connecting to this network. Yeah, then maybe can also. All right. Ahmad, does privilege access management is enough to combat against password attack? To a certain extent, yes. So that's why we always encourage that you guys use POLP, privilege of use the least privilege for each user. Okay, principle of least privilege. Do not give everyone's high privilege there. If one of the account has been compromised, then your whole organization will be compromised as well. Just like how we can just dump AD password, AD hashes out from any of the systems. For Amit, what are the must-have application for practicing password attack on our virtual machine? Basically, for practicing password attack, you can just turn on your remote desktop. Okay, you can just from there you can just practice already. That's the most basic thing that you can do. Okay, any ones? Latest Win 10 is secure. Latest Win 10 is secure to a certain extent, depending on what type of services you are running on top of it. Okay, so like last week, I should have shown you guys using Eternal Blue, or even though I'm using here Windows 2016, I have compromised it using Eternal Blue. Okay, which is the exploit that I have there. Okay, it always depend on what type of application you are running there. Okay. Kenny 1909, if there's no security concern being raised, then yeah, it's secure. All right, but then of course there are always we have the risk of 0-day attacks. We do not know when a 0-day attack will come out also. So I cannot say that any operating system is secure at this moment because it has not been made known to us. Maybe there are, but it was not being announced, so we do not know about it yet. Okay. Okay, for Anson, what other good dictionary available? Eventually, you can just download this kind of dictionary from online. Okay, there are at least 1 terabyte of leaked password out there online there already. You can just download there and you can just use it. Okay, you can see that password are passing around a megabit of 2.2 billions of what, then one terabyte of leaked password. You can just download all these password from online if you do not want to create your own to maintain your own database, your own password dictionary. Yes, rainbow table is very, very large and it will take a long time to do it, but most of the time the success rate is very high for rainbow tables compared to dictionary, because if dictionary there isn't the password there, then it will fail already. Okay. For securing AD, what is your suggestion? Always patching. Patching is very important. Okay, then the privilege that you are giving to each of the users. Okay, and also make sure there's no local admin password there also lah. Okay, that's very important point lah. Brute force doesn't really require high CPU or GPU usage actually. Okay, it's only trying to do one by one attack from whatever password that you have. We always can slow it down if you feel that it's using high CPU. How to detect and stop different type of password attack? I believe you should have some type of detection system in your environment. Okay, so at least you know that someone is trying to do more than 3 times of login. Okay, then you can always lock out the account. Then at least they will not be able to crack the password then. Can you demonstrate spectral attack in the future? Yeah, we will try to look into that as well. Okay. For G1 OSCP, yes, it is a mandatory to use Metasploit. Okay. In OSCP exam, they discourage you cannot use like tools like Nexus or those. You have to use Metasploit. You have to be very well versed on Metasploit. Okay. Kenny, any recommended security solution we could test around, like which IDS security to use? Um, as I mentioned earlier, there's no one single technology that is foolproof lah. All right, it's always depend. In the end of the day, it always depends on the configuration that you are setting it. Even I give you the best technology there are, the best IDS there are. If the rules that you are setting there is not correct, it will still fails. Aaron K, okay, how do you overcome the following challenges? Okay, so maybe sometimes right now there are very popular kind of password you are being introduced also. I think you have heard about password pass phrase, sorry, password phrase. It's something like related to your daily life. Okay, let's say sorry, how to spell that? Password, is it? So it's like, I like to drive to school every day in the morning at you are using my Honda. Something like this kind of password. Okay. So this is long, but it is easy to remember as well also. So maybe it can help you to overcome the challenge there. But of course, depending on how many character is there lah. Okay. Try to passphrase, correct? Thanks, Kenny. Kenny, okay, but any example that we could practice? I believe you heard about Snort. Okay, Snort is one type of famous IDS or IPS. Okay, so you can just install your own pfSense, then install the Snort modules into it, and then try from there as well in your environment that you want to see what kind of rules is suitable for you. Okay, but let's say you want to say FortiGate or those, that one is all commercial, then I got no choice, but you have to contact them lah. But let's say open source, pfSense is still open source, and then you can just install Snort on top of it, okay, to use it to practice your skills all those from there also. Jivan, are there any CTF available? Yes, there are a lot on the net there. Okay, you want more? There's very famous one is Hack the Box as well. Okay, Hack the Box, you can just go to the website and join the community there from there to practice this kind of skills. And then it's Hack the Box is very famous for anyone that want to practice their skills lah, right? Hack the Box, okay? Any other questions so far? Sorry if I miss out the questions. If you don't mind, you can just post the question again. I will try to answer it. So hopefully you guys are benefited from this kind of session, all right? There are a lot of different types of attack out there, all right? You just need to go around and play around. Of course, what we are sharing here is just very limited. Not much can be shown also from 1 hour, okay? Always know how to secure your environment. You can see that how we can just easily bypass this type of attacks in your environments, okay? So I hope you guys are staying safe. For those that are working already, okay? Practice social distancing, okay? Okay, sorry, one more thing. Next week we'll still have another session. All right, same time again. It will be on digital forensic for next week, okay? So I hope to see you guys as well. For G1 online certificates, yes, there are. We will send you the link later on how to claim your certificates from there, okay? So next week is on digital forensic on mortality and autopsy. No, different link, Clay. We'll give you, yes, you still need to register for it. We will send you the registration link later on. Kenny, reverse engineering. It is an interesting topic, but we'll see how it goes, okay? Because reverse engineering takes a lot of time and a lot of understanding to do reverse engineering. But we'll take note on that. We'll see whether we are able to come out with the kind of topics or not. All right, thank you guys. Yes, the session is recorded and will be emailed to you guys. Okay, it will be uploaded to YouTube as well. And as for the Vendron, is it safe to register an account? Use a dummy account lah. Why you want to use your real account? And then when you're downloading all those kind of stuff, use a virtual machine to do it. Okay, if you do not know what maybe the tools is or the virtual machine that you downloaded is safe or not as well. So always do it in a sandbox environment. Thank you again, guys. I'll see you guys next week, okay? Thanks, Kin Hong. Well, okay, need so many topics. Okay, we'll take note again as well. Threat modeling. You want basically it's like how you want to calculate the risk or the threats. Don't worry, we'll try to keep up with this webinar every week. There's a lot of topic we can discuss together. Thanks, Amit. Okay, I'll end the session here. I'll see you guys again next week. Bye.